Welcome to my channel Health for You. What foods to eat to conceive a girl? Are you interested to find out how your diet can drastically increase your chances to conceive a girl? Did you know that you can greatly increase the odds of getting pregnant with a baby girl by eating certain foods? Well, keep on listening this video to find out. What foods to eat to conceive a girl? Some researchers have discovered that one of the most powerful factors that affect the human sex ratios is represented by the diet. More precisely, it has been noticed that a certain kind of diet seems to favor the conception of girls, while the occurrence of boys seem to be favored by another type of diet. This video will present you essential details about the best diet to conceive a girl. Here is what you will find out by listening this post. The main features of this dietary method, useful advice concerning this famous technique of gender selection, a brief history of it, what food items are recommended for conceiving a baby girl, pros and cons regarding this strategy. 8 things to know about the diet for conceiving a girl. There are several aspects regarding this dietary method of human sex selection that you ought to know. First of all, there are multiple diets that are supposed to help you conceive a female baby. All these diets having the same main idea which will be presented in this video. Secondly, this gender selection method is not able to guarantee you the sex of your future child. Its success rate is about 70 to 80%. When you are thinking on how to conceive a girl, diet method can only raise your odds of having a baby girl. Thirdly, this technique can't promise that by following its diet, the woman will even get pregnant at all with any kind of baby, boy or a girl. Fourthly, you ought to ask your medical doctor for advice prior to commencing to follow this diet. Throughout the period of going on this diet, having a nutritionist, physician or gynecologist monitoring your health status is the best thing you can do. Fifthly, it's essential to know not only the benefits but also the drawbacks of this diet, especially the contraindications and the potential side effects of this diet for conceiving a girl. For example, high blood pressure, excess of calcium in the blood, and the heart problems are some of the medical conditions that must stop the person from going on this diet. Moreover, this diet is pretty unbalanced and therefore it might generate some illness such as excess of calcium in the blood, nervousness, etc. This is why it's essential to avoid following an extreme diet, especially when you are expecting to get pregnant. Sixthly, the diet recommended by the sex selection strategy, for example, the diet to conceive a girl, is actually a pre-pregnancy diet. That a diet which should be followed only before becoming pregnant, because the fetal sex can be controlled only prior to the moment when that fetus is conceived. After the woman becomes pregnant, she must quit following this diet even if the gender of her fetus is not the desired one, because it can't be changed after the conception moment. It's important to know that this diet must also be discontinued after having been followed for 2 or 3 months without becoming pregnant. The seventh important thing that ought to be known by the person trying to conceive a girl is that the future father should also follow this diet. Just like his partner, the future mother, the A physiological factor is the rationale behind this advice. The eighth essential aspect related to this dietary method of gender selection is actually a warning. Neither the woman nor their parents nor the partners should go on this diet for a long period of time because they might get sick. What foods to eat to conceive a girl? The principal idea of this dietary strategy of sex selection is very simple, and it consists in modifying the proportion of four minerals in a one diet. These four essential minerals actually tell you what to eat to conceive a girl. He four minerals of the diet method that is meant to help the woman to predetermine the gender of their future baby are these: calcium, magnesium, sodium, potassium. The first two of them, calcium and magnesium, are the girl minerals. They are recommended for conceiving a female offspring. More precisely, the woman aiming for baby girls should increase their intake of these two girl minerals and limit or decrease their intake of the other two minerals, sodium and potassium, which are the boy minerals. That is, they are recommended for conceiving a male child. The persons into the diet to conceive a girl ought to know that the future mother, and also for physiological purpose their partners, should eat food items rich in calcium and magnesium and poor in potassium and sodium. The foodstuffs that are famous for containing high levels of calcium and magnesium are the dietary products, cheese, milk, butter, etc. There are also some fruits, cereals and vegetables such as nuts, beans. They are rich in these two girl minerals.